These are the three largest market cap listed company in Nasdaq. If we're concerned about the AI bubble, I'm going to show you how I perform a quick glance with some top companies and its index to determine any upcoming short-term, mid-term, or long-term correction. In 2017, Microsoft, its PE reached its highest at 45, and from there, it went up anyway. In 2023, Nvidia, its PE reached its highest at 147, and from there, it went up anyway. In 2024, Apple, its PE reached its highest at 40. From there, it went up anyway. My name is Con Hao. My work in this channel is to study behavior science and finance, discover correlation between different markets, and uncover potential opportunities. This analysis is based on technical studies and does not constitute financial advice. Please consult your licensed broker before investing. How to tell if AI stocks and its index is in a bubble? If we just study into some of its valuation ratios, like what we just did, it is difficult to determine its precision point of any potential correction. Therefore, I would like to adopt quantamental approach where first I acknowledge that their valuation is on the high side. And I use technical approach to give me that sensitivity in different stocks and index and in different time frame. Let's get into the Microsoft. And we know its valuation. And let's look into its technicals. Let's first get into its daily. Of course, I will encourage that you play around with different time frame. And of course, I did my homework on the daily chart. I saw a very distinct over the past few weeks is quite something to me. Never quite see this before, and so define that there is this potential double top that I'm seeing here. So this is one little red flag on its fundamental, as we could see that Microsoft is PE, if we just use this alone, is about 36, not exactly that high, but it's considered pretty high. And technically, I'm seeing something here. So is one red flag. So if combine the two together, fundamental and technical, so is a concern here. Now let's look at the Nvidia and let's look at the technical. I'm not seeing much on the daily chart, but if I'm going to look at it on the weekly perspective, I'm seeing something here that throughout this cycle, for the first time, I'm seeing a very clear, defined bearish engulfing body here. You can see this. That was last week, and that was previous week, and this week is still in the making. So this is technically is one red flag, and fundamentally, of course, we can get into it as well. Just a quick one. So at about 57, to me, that's pretty high, is on the high side here. And let's look at the Apple right now. And before we discuss about Nasdaq, and how about Apple? Technically, I'm seeing that I'm not seeing anything much here, but I would really encourage you to use whatever skill set you have in technical studies. And I would like to call up a MACD. And from here, I'm seeing something interesting here. And throughout this uptrend since in May or April this year, it reacted very nicely, but I do see some divergence here. That's what I mean here. So whenever I see some divergence, I would tend to be a little bit cautious moving forward as well. So now we could see that in terms of the three largest cap between Microsoft, Nvidia, Apple, we're seeing some reflect technically and fundamentally their P are all at a high side. Now let's look at the Nasdaq right now. And Nasdaq, let me just go to let's do some study on its P ratio. Yes, index also has its P ratio. And I would like to reference to the last cycle during the '08 crisis, '09 crisis. Where was the peak of the PE ratio for Nasdaq? It was around 30. Yeah, so I would just take it as literally for this index above 30 because we have some past reference. Of course, we know the story. There was a Wall Street meltdown followed by Lehman crisis. We can see that the P ratio was about 30. So it became a reference point to me that anything above 30 is a concern. And so where we are today is at 37. So I'm concerned, but as discussed earlier, sometimes if we use all this valuation ratio, it's difficult to identify the precision point. So let's look at the top few companies which we just did, and now I'm going to move into the chart itself, the index itself, or the AI index, or you can call it the uh, Nasdaq index. Now, let's look at the trend line that usually I would love to draw. Let me try this. And I'm seeing something here, which is, I'm going to extend it further. You could see that it's touching all these points very nicely, including these 2 points. And this was a neckline. And what I'm seeing here that the Nasdaq are still following very nicely on uptrend, but the red flag was on these three companies, especially on Microsoft and Nvidia. So it gives me some precision point there. Still remember on the weekly chart, we saw a bearish engulfing body. Apple is still developing. And I think the Nasdaq is also developing here. And what we're seeing here is on a daily chart. And I'll be watching very closely in days to come. It could be tonight, I do not know. But in days to come, if it ever break below this uptrend line, quite impulsively, and so to me, the upcoming trend became very clear. It may transit to a downtrend. So these are just purely on technical studies. And I use this very effectively to help me to get a more precise timing. So as I use the fundamentals, sometimes I cannot get the precision, but as I use technical, precision do comes in. From this analysis, there are many red flags technically on its immediate term. And how to use this information I shared to project if the correction is going to extend to the mid to long term. It is with time. So as time passes, there will be new developments fundamentally and technically. And we can make our assessment from time to time. Feel free to leave any comments below. I love to exchange ideas with you on what is about to come. Really happy that you stay through this tutorial. You have many great trading weeks ahead.